real pleasure to invite in studio Andrew Kida. Kind of a last-minute thing. Sprung it on him yesterday. He was gracious enough to come in. Andrew, how you been?
I've been great, Gary. Things are going awesome. Nice weather, can't beat it, and winter so far has been pretty tame for us. We had a couple bad snowstorms and got through it just fine.
I was down at Camanche the other day doing a ball game. Always love going down to Camanche, climbing up into that crow's nest up at the gymnasium. The other day, in fact, I was coming down, and there was a gentleman at the bottom. He goes, "I saw you the other night climbing down that ladder with your equipment. I came over to help you out."
Oh,
I appreciated that. So we're going to get into the three topics that you have here for us, and the first one deals with your water system.
Sure. So this is an update on our PFAS situation. PFAS is a forever chemical that the EPA has determined is in our system as a result of production at the 3M facility in Cordova. They were dumping PFAS material legally at the time into the ground, and it infiltrated into the underground water ducts, which don't flow the same way as the river necessarily, and that's part of our water supply. So in our shallow wells, which are 400 or 500 feet deep, those wells are contaminated, and for the time we known about PFAS in there, but there were acceptable levels, and now the goal line has moved. The EPA has made a decision that the levels that were allowable were too high, so they lowered that, and now we're outside of those standards. So the EPA directed 3M to not only take care of people on private wells within a certain radius of the plant, but also address the Camanche water supply. So we've been working with 3M on that. They've been very good partners, and on Tuesday we'll be awarding a bid for $2.5 million to dig a new deep well. We have one deep well online now, and that was always our backup well. We've rehabbed that to be our main water supply, and the test results are a good note for people to understand that our system accesses all of our water now comes out of that deep well, and that is PFAS free. And the test results show that, and the test results from within the network, within the infrastructure of the water supply system, also show that no detectable levels of PFAS in there. So we're comfortable saying that our PFAS system, our PFAS issue in Camanche is currently clear. Now, right soon here, we're going to have to take that deep well offline because we're replacing the pump. And that's an expensive process. Again, and 3M is directed to pay for all of this. Mm-hmm. So we'll be getting a new pump in there. When we do that, we'll have to bring those shallow wells back online. Right now, they're only online for an emergency backup. And we'll notify people when that's going to happen, and they can make the decision on whether or not they want to drink the water. And we'll do a mailing. We'll use our social media. We'll utilize you folks to let everybody know, hey, here's the time frame when we're looking. And it'll be a limited time. Once that new pump goes in and everything's working back at well number 5, then we'll bring it all back online, and we should be fine. Then this summer, the new deep well gets dug on a piece of property that the city owns. We'll get a new well house put in there, tie that into the system, and then the next step will be to cap those shallow wells. We won't use them anymore because we won't need them for backup. We'll have 2 deep wells running. We'll get a 3rd deep well drilled next year, and then we'll have 3 deep wells in the Camanche water supply with no issues of PFAS in our system anymore. It's a great opportunity, great deal. In total, it's going to be probably $7 to $8 million worth of infrastructure for the water system for the citizens of Camanche, and they won't have to pay for any of it.
That is amazing. So not coming out of the city budget at all.
No. Well, we have to spend the money, but 3M has to give us the money. Yeah. We still have to transfer, follow that in and out legally. But it really is a great win for the citizens of Camanche. And in the end, everything works out just fine. And I'll say that everybody involved in this has been very great to work with. 3M has been an excellent partner. And the EPA has provided very good guidance for us, and they keep checking in to see what our updates are, and the DNR has been working well with us too. So we're really thrilled with all that.
Again, visiting with Andrew Kida. So where are the locations of these 3 deep wells going to be?
Well, we'll only be bringing on 2 new deep wells.
Right.
One is off of, we own a 3-acre lot that we bought a few years ago. and it's always funny. I suggested to the council they buy that lot because it was for sale, and there were people inquiring about wanting to just build one house on 3 acres so they could have a giant playground in their backyard. And this is at the end of 14th Street, which is the Eden's third edition. That's a newer subdivision. And then also south off of Eden's Avenue, which is Eden's fourth edition. So we own that 3 acre lot there. So that's where the deep well is going to go in. And we bought that land a few years ago, and people wonder why we're buying that. And well, we didn't buy it with this intention. We always intended for it to have those two roads go through and then connect southward. So very fortunate at that point that we were just able to have that piece of land to be able to put a deep well on. So one will go there, and then one will go on the existing site off of 3rd Street where we have the existing shallow well house. We'll just go deeper over at that location and use that same piece of land.
All right, very good. Well, since we're talking about water, let's move on to the next talking point, splash pad project.
Yeah, we're moving forward on that. We'll be talking with Bond Council here on Tuesday. I have a meeting with them. The City Council it's always been in their capital improvement plan, and the Park and Rec Commission has been working hard to update plans for parks overall. So they developed a strategic plan, and we've worked with Shive Hattery engineers to design the splash pad and give cost estimates. But there's other infrastructure work that has to happen with that project. And it's finally moving forward, so the city is going to borrow $400,000 for that project. And we've asked CCDA to kick in some money, and we'll be having some fundraising being done by the Hometown Pride Committee. And February 22nd, they're having a trivia night, trying to raise money. So far, I think they have about $11,000 raised. I think they want to do a lot more than that. And I think there will be a lot more coming in. We're starting to see that kind of philanthropy happening in Camanche a lot more than we used to, mostly because we provided them an opportunity and a pathway to donate money rather than donating to the city, right? Because who really wants to just give money to the city for projects when you already give money to the city when you pay your taxes, right? So if we can give them a charitable operation where we're a 501c3 type operation can funnel that money towards a project, then you know your money's going towards a project and not just paying the salary of someone working for the city or things like. So it's a much better deal. And now that we have that avenue, we're seeing a lot more people. People are always willing to give. You just need to provide a mechanism for them to do it. So
where is this going to be located at, Andrew?
That'll be in Platt Park.
Oh, okay.
Down in the directions are so hard in Camanche.
Yes, they are.
It's weird. It's like the southeasterly corner, I think. Right now it's mostly trees. And the trick is we currently have bathrooms over there that we don't use because the fall of the sewer line isn't great. We have to do that infrastructure work. That's part of the reason why this is becoming such an expensive splash pad to do. We have to do infrastructure work there too, because the water being sprayed out of there will get captured and drained down the sewer line, and it has to be a proper sewer line to be able to do it. So we have to tap correctly into the main sewer line, which is a little further on one of the access streets there. So there's a little more work than normally just putting some pipes and concrete and some spray devices there and calling it a day. You can do that for $200,000 or $300,000. We have to add a little bit more because there's infrastructure work to do. So we're really excited for that project.
Will it be like the summer of 2025, or when are you looking at?
Oh no, this summer.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. No, they're assembling and getting ready to move.
Okay.
So one of the great features, we put it out for citizens to vote on what they wanted, and they wanted to choose a Native American theme. So what we've done is try to provide some concepts of what types of features or colors would represent Native tribes to the area. So we're looking at Meskwaki and Sac and those things. So we'll have a fox involved, red clay designs in the rocks, and bears and things like that. It'll be an outdoor kinds of thing. And we'll also be including some placards along the outside area indicating what those things are and what they meant to those native tribes. We want to pay honor to them and also educate local people or visitors about the history of that community and the history of our region.
What a great amenity is going to be for the city of Camanche. Again, visiting Andrew Kida. We'll take a break for the weather, and we've got more to visit with him on our FYI.
For your Thursday, we can expect a little bit more in the way of cloud cover, and temperatures still warming up into the nice, comfortable low 50s. Partly cloudy skies tonight as we drop to near freezing. And for your Friday, more clouds and a little bit cooler. We'll see daytime highs in the mid-40s. With your Storm Track 8 forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Fair skies, we're at 42 degrees. Our update brought to you by Dan Dolan.
So where do you want to live? Imagine yourself in a new subdivision located between Whittier Elementary School and the new Clinton Middle School and alongside the beautiful Emma Young Park. Easy access to everything Clinton has to offer, just south of 13th Avenue North at Mill Creek Parkway. It's a great time to get into your new home. Come out to Mill Creek Crossing and see our family homes, or pick out a lot and we'll build your dream home for you. At Mill Creek Crossing, we're building a future for all generations. Stop out today at our sales office, open 7 days a week.
Back with Andrew Kida, City Administrator for Camanche. Water seems to be our theme here today, Andrew. We're going to talk about water meters now.
Yeah, so, about 13 years ago, the city of Camanche upgraded their water meter system. And before, we used to have a system where we had workers that would have to walk around the entire town and manually read the meters on a little dial thing outside the house. And that was very time-consuming because you have to not only record that data on every household, but then they have to bring all that data back to City Hall, and they'd have to type that information in and generate bills that way. It would take a couple of weeks just to get all that work done, and lots of manpower. So they switched to this radio read system with newer meters, and that's fine. So now we drive around town with a computer and an antenna on a truck, and we pick up the meter readings on all of these meters to check what the usage is. Well, those things have a certain battery life, and some of the antennas are starting to fail now. Some of the meters have a certain battery life, and they're starting to fail, and they're in that window. They're probably a year or two outside of their life expectancy anyway. And now it's becoming difficult to find replacement meters for these because they're more than 10 years old. So we're looking to upgrade the system. And that'll be an expense that we have to look at. We've been working with with a company helping us understand what we might need, and the end result is going to be we're going to end up replacing the meters in Camanche, and most likely replacing it to a system where we can not only read it from City Hall without having to drive around anymore, but also provide people an application on their phone so they can monitor their water usage on a daily basis. So it'll really help them if they have a running toilet or a leak somewhere that they're not aware of. They'll see their high usage when they have it, and they can check that on their phone themselves without having to have the surprise 3 months later when they get their quarterly bill going, why is my bill $800? Well, your toilet's been running in your basement for the last month and a half, and you didn't know it. And it happens.
Yeah.
And so it'll be a great benefit for everybody all around. And these are more in the newer types of meters that are out now, more in the 20-year lifespan. So we're looking to be moving forward with that project here soon.
It came to my mind, we have these three different issues that we're talking about today, but I would imagine things come up every day across your desk that needs to be addressed.
Oh, sure. One of the things we're talking about now is cat wrangling, because people are feeding neighborhood cats. And my code enforcement officer printed out this giant booklet from the International City Managers Association website, and it's just detailing what the issue is. And people have to understand, you may want to have a fine heart for feeding neighborhood feral cats, but those cats go and do things to other people's property in the neighborhood. They're not polite about using the toilet outdoors and covering it up. They'll just spray on someone's garage because they want to claim that property. That's what feral cats do. And what are the solutions here? the solution number one is stop feeding cats outside. Let the cats figure it out, because if there's no food supply, they'll go somewhere else. They're just like any other animal. And the other problem with that too is people want to feed cats outside and don't realize that you're really feeding raccoons. And fortunately, we've gotten rid of a lot of the raccoons in Camanche because we don't have garbage bags on the street anymore twice a week. We've gone to the can system, and we've kind of taken away their food supply. But it doesn't help when people are feeding feral cats in the neighborhood with the box of Friskies that the raccoons really enjoy. So it creates a bunch of other problems, and we're going to start addressing it as best we can. We really need people to check their behavior and be mindful of what that behavior does to their neighbors.
Interesting. You were in on a program that we have Saturday mornings with Bill Shemmers called City Watch, and one of the topics you were talking about was roundabouts.
Yep.
And of course there is a roundabout down in Camanche. And explain to the people how more beneficial a roundabout can be to an intersection.
So for that intersection, we frequently had high-speed collisions. I think the average was 5 a year. And it really, the numbers are skewed over the last 5 years because IPSCO hadn't been operating on a major scale every day. The numbers were much higher when IPSCO was open. Well, now Merrill Steel is there, and we're happy to say hi to my friends at Merrill Steel. We're happy to have them in Camanche. It's going to be a great opportunity for our city to have that plant operating again. With that operation comes a lot more traffic. The more traffic you have, the more likely you're going to have an accident at that intersection. That was a dangerous intersection. It was the most dangerous intersection in the city of Camanche. So that roundabout has been open for over a year, and we've had one fender bender. The other difficulty you had at that particular intersection was our first responders have to go there and administer aid to the people in need, but you can't stop traffic on the highway. So people are still zipping by at 55 miles an hour. They don't pay any attention to the lights that are flashing and the personnel that are over there, and our personnel were at risk, and many of them volunteer firefighters. So we want to do something that can eliminate that need for emergency vehicles and emergency personnel to be on scene, because you don't need emergency personnel for a fender bender, and we've successfully done that. So and people may like them, they may not like them. If you don't like them, there's always an alternate route you can find to go if you don't want to drive through the roundabout. And I'm not here to say that everybody knows how to navigate them or that everybody obeys the rules. I've had some close calls there too. Fortunately, I'm going slow enough, and most other people are, that if there is a close call, you have enough time to react and brake and close call avoided. So there's a lot of benefits to it. Yeah. And it's worked out pretty well. And the one thing I'll say about our roundabout, too, we have that big red apron towards the center, and people call all the time, and they say, "No, it's too narrow. The truck's got to ride up on that concrete apron." And I say, that's what it's there for, and that's what they're supposed to do. So that they're behaving the way they're supposed to.
The real benefit is the flow of traffic.
Yes.
I used to have to travel Highway 30 going out to Iowa State, where my children went to school, and going to Mount Vernon at Highway 1 and Highway 30, there used to be a four-way stop. Well, that would get tremendously backed up. Yeah. Now they have the roundabout there, and the flow of traffic is so much better.
Yeah, it's sometimes challenging to navigate wider roundabouts, whether it's a two-lane roundabout. Ours is a one-lane roundabout, so it's very easy to navigate, but it does flow the traffic a lot better. And what I've noticed, too, I usually take that route going to Rotary and from Rotary on Mondays, and I'm traveling on 7th Avenue across the highway. Before, I would have to stop and wait for traffic on 30 to do something. Now, I just zip right through, no problem. You're not waiting there more than 15 seconds if there is some congestion in there. Before, you could be there 2 or 3 minutes waiting to get through, and then having to make a dangerous dart across Highway 30. So that's eliminated, and it's amazing to stand out there during high volume traffic hours and watch what happens. And people just kind of figure it out.
Yeah, just remember, you yield as you come into a roundabout,
correct.
And you'll be golden the rest of the way.
If there is a vehicle in the roundabout and you are trying to enter, you must yield. Just look to your left.
There you go.
That's all you need to do. Look to your left and see if nobody's there, you may proceed.
visiting with Andrew Kida. We're getting toward the end of the program, and again, thanks so much for coming in today. You mentioned the Rotary Club.
Yeah.
How are things with the Camanche Rotary? Any projects going on right now? I know you were involved down there by the library.
Yeah, we're still working on the train depot, which was the project that I sponsored when I was president last year. There's some internal work going on. A lot of the external work on the depot itself has been finished. We'll get the internal work done. There's HVAC in there now, so we had an old heater. Just the heater was a Montgomery Ward, so you can imagine how old that was. And I think in the industry they call those widow makers. So not the greatest, not the Bash Montgomery Ward. It's just it's so old that things don't go so well when they're that old in heaters. So, but now there's AC too. So the main part of the museum will be able to be open in the summertime, even when it's really hot out. And we're looking forward to having our historical society group be able to staff that during the summer, not every day, but creating some regular hours, because people are always inquiring what's in there, what's going on, and now it'll be a safer, cleaner, remodeled environment for them. And the real goal over the summer is to have a train safety day,
right,
because we have increased volume of train traffic in Camanche on the Canadian Pacific line, and both CP and Union Pacific have agreed to send representatives on our train safety day to help kids understand the hazards of playing around train tracks. And with the increased volume, we need to do a better job of helping our kids understand how dangerous that really is. And that's what we'll do. We'll have food trucks and jump houses and stuff like that, and it'll be a good old time down by the river.
Again, you've been on the job for 7 years.
Yes, sir.
What attracted you to Camanche, and what keeps you around?
They offered. I applied to a couple other places, and I've been the runner-up numerous times, and the response was always, "We love you, you're a great candidate. We just went with someone who had experience." I had no experience. I'm like, well, it's got to start sometime.
Yeah.
And God bless the folks in Camanche. They gave me the opportunity. I'm so grateful for that. My wife and I are grateful for that opportunity. And what keeps me going in Camanche really is my staff, which is fantastic. We have a great staff that works there. But also the projects that we have going on, and the turn that we're making in Camanche to be able to bring these new things. We did that roundabout project. We just finished 9th Street out there in front of Murphy Subdivision. That's gorgeous. We're going to have the splash pad going in. We got the new City Hall that you got to see yesterday for the first time. A lot of things happening in Camanche, and still keeping the tax levy low. Our tax levy is still the lowest around by far. Our water and sewer rates are the lowest by far. And we're proud to be able to do that and continue to provide good services in Camanche. And we're upping our game, and we're doing that through the planning process. And people have been giving their input to these plans all along the way, and now we're starting to enact these plans, and things are improving, and we're really pleased with that. And I want to see those projects through. I really like being able to do that and see the work that we've all done together.
And in closing, I can recall the last time you were in, you mentioned you got to let the people of Camanche know they are a city. It is.
That is correct.
It is
not a small
city.
town. It's not a village. It's a city. It's the city of Camanche, and we should behave like a city.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.